I'm about to rip a rare box of 1984 Topps baseball cards, searching for the rookie cards of Don Mattingly, Darryl Strawberry, and more. Hello, sports card investors, and happy holidays. The holidays have come a little bit early for me. I've got myself a little Christmas gift here today, and I'm going to share it with you by ripping this open. This is a sealed box of 1984 Topps baseball. It is BBCE certified by the Baseball Card Exchange as authentic. And this box is actually a little more rare than most sealed boxes of 1984 Topps that you might find, because it has this ugly black mark across it. What does that mean? That means that this box actually went unsold in a card shop back in 1984, so they returned the box to Topps for a credit. Whenever that happened, Topps would mark the boxes with this black ink so that when they were resold, card shops couldn't return them a second time. So a little bit of interesting history with this box, but of course what's more interesting is what is inside this box, and we're about to rip it and find out. This is going to be fun. Before we look at this, let's just set the stage by seeing what these boxes are worth and how often they sell. So here I'm going into Market Movers and I'm looking at a chart of 1984 Topps baseball sealed boxes, because Market Movers tracks a whole bunch of sealed boxes in addition to cards. You can see this is the Topps 1984 wax box, and you can see that over the course of the year, these boxes have been selling for anywhere between a low of $153 and a high of $690. The average sale of one of these boxes over the last year is $303, and 80 of these have sold in various online marketplaces over the course of the last year. So these aren't incredibly rare, but they're still somewhat rare. You certainly don't see them out there that often, and if you have the chance to pick one of these up, they can always make for a fun rip. Now I'm going to check out the Sports Card Investor app to show you the cards that we are searching for today. So most notably, it is this Don Mattingly rookie card. That's probably the most noticeable known card from the box, and hopefully we pull that one today. But you've also got a lot of 1980s All-Stars in this that are popular as well, like Nolan Ryan and Ryan Sandberg and Cal Ripken. This would be his third-year Topps card. Darryl Strawberry, another rookie card that we're chasing after today that would be a very good one to get. Andre Dawson is in here, as well as Dave Winfield and Mike Schmidt and Pete Rose and Ricky Henderson and Tim Raines. So you're going for a lot of those 1980 stars, Tony Gwynn, Wade Boggs, etc. The list goes on. And it's also worth noting that there were some other rookies in here. Andy Van Slyke, probably the most noticeable, or notable I should say, after Don Mattingly and Darryl Strawberry. All right, guys, let's get ripping. Let's do this. Let's open this box up. Let's unseal a box that has been sealed now for the last almost 40 years. This box sealed back in 1984, and we are here in the year 2023, almost 2024, about to turn to 2024. And 40 years later, this box has now been opened. All right, and there are the packs inside. So we are hoping to find that Don Mattingly rookie card. We are hoping to find that rookie card of Darryl Strawberry and possibly Andy Van Slyke and some of those 1980s greats. Now, of course, back in 1984, you got a lot of cards. When these boxes were opened, you know, they were not shorting you on the cards, right? Now, of course, there weren't any parallels back then or anything like that like you have today. So what you have is actually a really big base set. There are 792 cards in this base set, which means you're certainly not guaranteed to get any of those cards that I just mentioned, because there's so many cards in this product that even opening up an entire box like this, you're definitely not guaranteed to find a Don Mattingly or a Darryl Strawberry. But join with me, and hopefully we will. Since there are so many packs, I'm going to go through these pretty quickly because I want you guys to get a chance to see all of these. Think we're still eligible to win the trip to the All-Star game? I'm not sure they're going to redeem that anymore. Anyway, I'm going to go through relatively quickly. I'll call out, big cards as we go. Oh, look at that, Ken Griffey Sr. Ken Griffey Sr. This was 5 years before the league became aware of Ken Griffey Jr. This is Pops right there. That's a pretty cool card for sure. That's a neat one. And then look at this, guys. Little gum relic on the back of that card. So this is back when, of course, they used to have gum in the baseball card packs, and you can see what has happened to this 1984 gum here. But the gum is still there. The gum is still there. Wonder if any card manufacturer has really thought about bringing back the gum. Has Topps thought about bringing back the gum? Look at that gum. Wow. That would not be so nice to try. So going through this box, we're on pack 2. I'm encouraged to see that these cards, oh, Steve Carlton, one of your 80s greats there. These cards look like they are in very nice condition. You can see from the, the centering on these cards, which is not always great. These ones look sharply centered, which is, well, not that one as much. That one shifted a little bit. That Harold Baines card is shifted a little bit up on the top bottom. But most of these cards, like if you look at the one before, most of these cards seem to exhibit really nice centering, and the corners look sharp and the edges look sharp. So that's not always the case when you open up boxes from the 1980s. Sometimes you'll find boxes, or any old box, sometimes you'll find, well, I mean, frankly, even today's boxes, you'll find, boxes that have lots of centering issues and that type of thing, even with modern, ultra-modern cards. But these look really, really nice. The registration on these also looks good. There's Eddie Murray, another 1980s legend. So what that means, what the registration is the, oh, Ron Washington, by the way. He was a big part of my Atlanta Braves teams here in Atlanta for some time. Not as much, now he's gone. Now he's got a head coaching job, so good for him. Wade Boggs, there you go. So that's one of the cards you're looking for sure. An absolute 1980s star. As I'm pulling good cards today, guys, I'm going to sleeve them up with my BCW card sleeves. I've got all of my BCW products over here. I've got my card sleeves. I've got my BCW top loaders, and I've got my BCW magnetic card holders. If I happen to pull one of those really big rookie cards, I might put it in there. And I want to mention, guys, that you can actually save 10%. It's an exclusive offer just for our viewers. You can save 10% on any BCW supply by going to bcwsupplies.com and using promo code SCI at checkout. That gives you 10% off everything from BCW Supplies. All right, well, I'm happy that we got Wade Boggs. He was one of the guys I was looking for. But yeah, I was talking about registration issues with these cards, right? So oftentimes when you're opening up cards from, the early 80s or prior, you'll see that sometimes the printing on the card wasn't super crisp. Sometimes the cards look a little bit like there were multiple kind of layers of the print over top of each other, which didn't quite line up. They look a little shadowy or something of that nature. Oh, boom, 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 boom. Got it. Look at that. All right, that's not bad, guys. What was that, pack 3, pack 4? We already hit our first Don Mattingly rookie card. Nicely conditioned Mattingly rookie card. That's great. That's great. Was definitely hoping to get one of those. Very, very pleased to get that. It looks like it's in pretty nice condition. Yeah, that looks like a winner. That looks like a winner of a Don Mattingly rookie card right there. Look at that, guys. Boom, trip down memory lane right there. One of the biggest cards of the 1980s. One of the cards that as a collector, as a kid, I started collecting a little after 1984. I started really collecting in like 1986. But I remember the 84 Mattingly still being extremely relevant at that time. And of course, all through the 80s, people were chasing this Don Mattingly rookie card. Wow, that's great news. All right, I want to take a look here in Market Movers real quick just to see what this card would do. I'm going to switch back over to card mode in Market Movers, and let's search for the 1984 Topps Mattingly. So here it is. Let me look at it. Let me just look at it in a couple of different conditions here. Let's look at it. So raw right now, it's doing about 10 bucks. PSA 8, it's doing about 28 bucks. PSA 9, it's doing 62 bucks. Okay, that's encouraging because this, I think, just by looking at it, I think that's got to be, it's got to be at least a 9. I mean, that looks really, really sharp to me. So definitely worth grading with PSA or with SGC. If it's doing $62 in a PSA 9. Let's see what the last PSA 10 sold for. The last PSA 10 of this card sold for $798, and we can look at the price chart over that. over the last 180 days. Relatively flat price chart, but it did peak for as much as over $1,100 is the peak price here over the last 180 days. Most recently having sold for $798. So this is one that I'm definitely going to want to take good care of. I'm going to go ahead and put it in one of my BCW magnetic card holders and get this ready. And then I'll move this to a grading submission envelope and either submit it with PSA or with SGC here in the near future. All right. Wow, I'm excited. Couple packs in and I've already got a Don Mattingly. Look at that. Let's take nice care of that. Put that nicely in there. Wow, could I get more than one Mattingly in this box? That would be nice, wouldn't it? And there you go. There's the Don Mattingly. And I should also acknowledge, look at the next card, guys. I was so excited about my Don Mattingly that I didn't even notice that the next card was Cal Ripken, which is one of the other cards you want to see in here. It's an early career Cal Ripken card. Of course, he was one of the greatest stars of the 1980s as well. That's exciting. Cool. Look at that. Wow, that was a nice pack. By the way, guys, these packs were selling for 30 cents back in 1984. That's actually the price on the box. That box had a 30-cent per pack price tag on the box. Imagine pulling this pack for 30 cents. This would have been the pack to pull. You would have been thrilled. Imagine going down to the corner store, to like your local 7-Eleven or your local drugstore, whatever that might have been, and paying 30 cents and opening a pack that had Don Mattingly and Cal Ripken in the same pack. That would be a sensational pack of 1984 tops to have opened. Wow, that's exciting. All right, we hit it big right early on, and that means we got the chance to hit more. Tony Phillips, there you go. All right, oh, Mookie Wilson, that's cool. That's a fun card. He had some big moments for the Mets, didn't he? That's a cool one. Get these back out of here a little bit. You know what? It is fun just to rip 1980s wax. It's like, oh, Ryan Sandberg, there you go. That was one I was hoping to find as well. Finding all the big names so far. Look at that. That is a nice Ryan Sandberg card. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm impressed with this box, guys. Look at the centering. Really well centered. I am impressed with this box. This box is this is a good box. I am happy with this so far. Really happy that I ripped into this. You know, opening up some of these 1980s boxes, it can just be a thrill. Dave Winfield, another 1980s great. Just going through the old cards like this. Of course, you get a lot of packs, you know, obviously for the money. And about $300 for this particular box. I bought this box on eBay, paid around that price. And the fact, by the way, if I showed you at the beginning how this box had the black mark on it showing that it was one of the boxes that was returned. That actually makes the boxes a little less expensive because, you know, there's a lot of collectors that if they're buying the box and they want to keep it sealed, they don't want the black mark on the box because they think it takes away from it aesthetically, which I understand. Oh, look at that young Dusty Baker. Wow, baseball legend right there, huh? I understand that feeling. If you're trying to keep the box sealed, maybe you want to display the box. You don't want one of those big black marks on the box. So they will sometimes sell for a little bit less with a black mark. But if you know you're going to rip the box, then there's no reason not to, you know, get one of the boxes with the black mark on it. I saved a few bucks by getting one of the boxes with a black mark on it. Bought it off of eBay. And Don Baylor. And happy I did. Happy that I got it here and that I'm able to do this rip today. This was a little bit of an early Christmas present for myself. By the way, those of you out there who are watching this over the holidays, Merry Christmas to you. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. We got 2024 right around the corner. Dwight Evans, 1980s star there as well. A lot of big names in here. Hubie Brooks. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to rip these old cards. And you know, the cool thing about like ripping 1980s, Darrell Evans too, another big 80s star. The fun thing with ripping like 1980s, you know, they call it junk wax. You know, at 84, it's debatable. I don't know if you'd consider 84 as much junk wax, right? The junk wax era more started to come in the late 80s when the boxes were just printed like crazy. Julio Franco, he was a fun one to watch. Interesting batting stance. He was always a lot of fun. Nolan Ryan, there we go. That's another one that I was looking for, one of the big 1980s stars. Looks like a nicely conditioned Nolan Ryan. This one actually not as good of a condition as some of the others that we've seen so far today. First of all, a little bit of a dinged corner, if you can see that up there, which is interesting because I don't know why that one's got a dinged corner when most of the others, oh, maybe that's not a dinged corner. Maybe it's just got a little scuff on it. No, it's the corner soft. That's a shame because none of the other cards from this pack or the other packs have had corner issues, but this one seems to have a little bit of a corner issue. Also not the best centered copy. You can see that the image on this is shifted a little bit down to the left or a little bit to the left and a little bit down. So it's not the best copy of this Nolan Ryan card, but it's still a Nolan Ryan card. So you can't go wrong with that, right? I mean, that's one of the ones we wanted to hit from the box, and we did. We hit it, so that's pretty sweet. Yeah, it's just, you know, it's so much fun ripping 1980s cards, and the boxes, you know, don't set you back that much. You can get some decent value out of them sometimes. I mean, I've already pulled a Mattingly. You know, if I'm able to pull, now I'm not saying I'm going to make my money back. Obviously, if that Mattingly were to PSA 10, then I would make a real nice positive return on the box. That normally doesn't happen. But, you know, if I get another Mattingly, maybe a Darryl Strawberry, get a PSA 9 of that Mattingly, a couple of PSA 9 Mattinglys, then that makes it, you know, that it starts to pay a little bit towards the cost of the box. Maybe not 100% of a perfect deal. Look at the Keith Hernandez. Another 1980s sensation. That's fun. I'll sleeve that one up as well. I liked Keith Hernandez back in the day. Lou Piniella, all-time great manager. Dave Righetti. He was a great pitcher too, wasn't he? Yeah, so, you know, I don't know if I'll make my money back per se on this. If the Mattingly were to PSA 10, then I definitely would. But it's more likely than not you won't get a PSA 10, you know, Mattingly or probably any card out of a box this old. But if you get a couple of nice PSA 9s, you can make some of the money back. But obviously, it's not just about making the money back. That's not my intention with ripping this box. I'm not trying to make my money back. I'm trying to have a little trip down memory lane and add some pretty cool cards of 1980s stars to my collection, including Reggie Jackson, one of the all-time greats from the 1980s. Too bad he's not in a Yankees uni. This is when he was with the Angels. So he's in an Angels uni there, but still a pretty cool card nonetheless. Yeah, it's like a Bert Blyleven, big time pitcher back then. Tony Pena, Kirk Gibson. There you go. We should sleeve that one up as well. Kirk Gibson, World Series hero around this time. What year was that? What year was that? That was a couple years prior to this, right? When he hit that, you know, one leg home run. I think that was a couple years prior to that. But it was somewhere around this time. The heroics of Kirk Gibson. Yeah, it's just a fun trip down memory lane. I mean, I'm sure you guys watching from home, watching me go through all of these, you're probably seeing names of players that are flashing memories back. Maybe these cards are flashing memories back. Willie Upshaw. Did you guys collect 1984 tops? That's our second Lou Piniella. I'd love to see a second Don Mattingly. Wouldn't that be great? Have not hit Darryl Strawberry yet. Still looking for Darryl Strawberry's rookie card in here as well. All right, Rick Manning, David Green, Robin Yount. There you go. Another star from the era. Pete Rose. How about that? We'll sleeve Pete Rose up there. Red sensation, Philly sensation as of 1984. Yeah, it's fun seeing these old cards. Yeah, let me know if you guys collected 1984 tops. This was Once again, this was slightly before when I started collecting, so I never had a lot of 84 Topps. I had a few cards here and there, but I never had a big 84 Topps collection. Really, my like complete sets and everything started in 1986, 1987, kind of in that era. Gary Carter, another 80s great. All right. Yeah, I always thought the design of 84 Topps was pretty cool. I think it's a pretty cool design. It's not my favorite design from the 80s, but I think it's also not my least favorite design from the 80s. I think it's pretty cool. What do you guys think of the design of 84 Topps? You dig it? They don't make cards like this anymore, do they? I mean, this definitely does not have the modern look. Like this would not pass. Oh, boom, there we go. Let's go. Darryl Strawberry rookie card. The other big one. What a box this has been, guys. The cards that you wanted to see, we are finding. We are finding all of the cards that we wanted to see. And that's not always super easy to do. With a checklist here of 792 cards. The fact that we are finding these cards is great. It's great. This is a great box. Wow, look at that. It's a nicely conditioned Darryl Strawberry. This one's going to have to go off for grading as well. Let me get this in my BCW magnetic holder. Whoop. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful Darryl Strawberry card. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Got the two big guys so far, guys. Look at that. We got them. We got the two that we were most going for already, the Darryl Strawberry and the Don Mattingly. Now the question is, will we get a second of each? You know, I don't want to be greedy. I'm pretty happy with the box so far. I don't want to be greedy, but yeah, you know, if we could get a second, I'd be pretty happy. I'd be pretty happy. This is a little bit of a holiday gift to myself, and I am so far pretty happy with the gift. I think it's done well. I don't want to be greedy right before the holidays, but if you know, if Santa wants to bring me a second Don Mattingly or a second Darryl Strawberry, I would not be sad about that. Let's say that. I would not be sad about that. Tom Seaver. All-time great pitcher there from the 1980s. It's a lot of set collectors from this era. I wonder if anybody watching this today, Willie McGee, loved him on the Cardinals. He was lightning fast. Him and Vince Coleman, they had a fun team, didn't they? Ozzie Smith, Vince Coleman, Willie McGee, the 1980s Cardinals. Wonder if anyone watching this today has tried to build an entire set or maybe owns an entire set of 1984 Topps. People don't build sets anymore the way that they used to. It's a much rarer trait today. But back then, back in the 80s, set building was obviously a big deal. I used to build sets back in the 80s. I don't really build sets anymore, you know. I mean, the products these days aren't oriented around building sets as much anymore. They're oriented around certain players. Building things like rainbows, like I guess that's the equivalent of set building today, right? Building all the parallels of a certain player's card. And I'm sure there's still people out there who build sets today. But for the most part, the sets that I've seen built today are more like specialty sets, like people building all the inserts from a particular set. Like people building all the kabooms, for example, or something. Of course, that would be an expensive one to build. This is our second Julio Franco. But something like that, like building complete insert sets, is a little more achievable today than trying to build like the entire checklist for a lot of these new releases. By the way, I think I went through, on that last pack, I got to rewind here a second. I think on the last pack I zoomed through and zoomed past to Tony Phillips. Did I? Because I did. So actually that was one of the other rookie cards this year, Tony Phillips. That was, I'll go ahead and sleeve that one up because that's a Tony Phillips rookie card too. I just happened to catch that. I remember now that this was in fact Tony Phillips' rookie card. Yep, there you go. Didn't want to pay disrespect to Tony Phillips by zooming by his rookie card. So there you go. There's Tony Phillips. Another Mookie Wilson. All right, so I've seen some doubles so far. Ah, nice. And another Nolan Ryan. This one better than the last. That's good because that last Nolan Ryan that I pulled had the corner issue and the centering wasn't great. Whereas this one, centering is definitely better and it doesn't have the corner issue. Well, you know what? You know what, guys? That corner in the upper right, that might, well, it's maybe a smidge soft. It's maybe a smidge soft. That's interesting. I wonder if something happens with like the Nolan Ryan cards in particular. Why would that be? Because none of the rest of the cards have a soft corner, but I've got two Nolan Ryans now and they both have a soft corner. Is that coincidence? I wonder if that has something to do with where they were placed on the complete sheet. Because oftentimes with, these 1980s, well, I mean, even with cards today, they would print an entire sheet. There's Wade Boggs. That's one we're looking for. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Big time 1980 star there for the Red Sox. Look at that. Cool. Yeah, so they would print these cards as part of a complete sheet, and then they would cut the sheet. So I just wonder, could be coincidence, but I wonder if the Nolan Ryan happened to be like in the upper right corner of the complete sheet. And maybe that's why both of the Nolan Ryans that I've opened so far have a dinged upper right corner. It's an interesting theory. I don't know if it's true or not, but it is interesting. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but it is interesting that both of the Nolan Ryans. Oh, boom, look at that. We got it, guys. We got number 2. We got number 2, Darryl Strawberry. This is great. What a great box. Wow. This is awesome, man. Little holiday gift for myself here. This is, cannot ask for more. Cannot ask for more. I was just happy to get one Darryl Strawberry and one Don Mattingly. And now we got number 2. Boom. Boom. Check it out. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. Put them together. Those are nicely conditioned too. I'm excited to get these graded. I'll have to do a grading review when these come back from grading. Would love if any of these could get a 10. I don't have my hopes up for a 10. They grade these old cards really tough. I feel like they grade cards a lot tougher these days than what they used to. I know, PSA says their grading standards have not changed at all over the years. They say it's the same grading standards. But man, I don't know. I've submitted some older cards, some 80s cards, and man, do I feel like they are graded tougher than they used to be. So it's possible. I mean, I believe them that their standards have not changed, but I also think that perhaps their people these days, uphold the standards or scrutinize to the standard a little tougher than what used to be the case. My mat's getting dirty here. If I got some like kind of remnants of all the packs, all the cardboard getting over top of my mat as I'm continuing to open up these packs. Just part of the printing process. It kind of would leave a little bit of cardboard shavings in these packs. All right. Anyone who I've jumped by here, who you would have stopped on and sleeved up. Paul Molitor might be one for some of you guys. Any Brewers fans out there? Paul Molitor, a big name for the Brewers back in the 1980s. All right, we're about 2/3 of the way through the box. Been a good rip so far. It's been a great rip so far. Frank Viola, big time 1980s star as well. Yeah, it's fun seeing a lot of these old cards. Bruce Benedict, I remember him. How about Fernando Valenzuela? Mike Schmidt. There we go. I'm going to sleeve up Mike Schmidt. Huge 1980s star. Big time Philly star. Well loved in Philadelphia. There we go. Mike Schmidt. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Got a nice pile of packs over here. All right, see if we get any big names in this one. Don Sutton, he was certainly a big name. Hoping for one more Don Mattingly here before this show is over. That would be a Christmas miracle. Get another Don Mattingly to go with my 2 Darryl Strawberries. That'd be a lot of fun. 1980s baseball was great. I grew up on 1980s baseball. Another Willie McGee. Another Ryan Sandberg. Very nice. Let's leave that one up. There you go. So I grew up in Florida in the 1980s. And of course, back then, Florida didn't have a team. There was no Marlins. There were no Rays. So the whole, Florida, as I think was true with a lot of the Southeast, was Braves country. Of course, we got TBS, Joe Morgan. So we got to see all the Braves games. So the Braves were kind of our quote-unquote local team. And I remember friends of mine, including me, by the way, I did this as well. I remember friends of mine who would travel up every year to go see a Braves game in Atlanta, because that was kind of our team. We'd watch the Braves on TV, we'd cheer for the Braves. And I remember going to a Braves game in the old Fulton County Stadium, I guess it used to be, in the 1980s, traveling up with my family. Rickey Henderson. That's one of the reasons I think why the Braves has such a big fan following, because they captured a lot of the Southeast. There you go. They captured all of Florida for a long time. Be interesting to know, are there more Braves fans still in Florida than there are fans of the Marlins or the Rays? Based on the attendance at Marlins and Rays games, I wouldn't be surprised. Fergie Jenkins. Man, that guy was a legend, wasn't he? That guy pitched like a zillion. Look at the back of that card. Isn't that fun to look at the back of some of these 1980s cards of the guys who have had careers like Fergie Jenkins and look at all of the stats? Unbelievable. He had pitched almost 4,500 innings as of 1984. What does that say? 800 and something games, 900 and something games. The text is so small. They had to print this so small that I can't even read it. It's so small. Amazing. With a 3.34 ERA throughout. Unbelievable. Pitchers they don't obviously, they don't put up anything like this in terms of numbers anymore. In terms of things like innings pitched. I mean, no one does that anymore. Tim Raines, another 1980 star. You've got some pitchers who have the career length that Fergie Jenkins did, like Verlander, for example, but they don't pitch as many innings. Back then, I mean, they would pitch, a guy like Fergie Jenkins could pitch 20 complete games in a season or more. You don't have pitchers doing anything like that anymore. I mean, it's almost unheard of now for someone to pitch a complete game. Phil Niekro, if a pitcher wants to pitch a complete game, he's got to beg his manager. He better be on a no-hitter. You just don't really see it anymore. And back then it was so common. So common. All right, guys, we got 5 packs remaining after this one. 5 packs remaining. Let's see what we get. See if we can get another Donnie Mattingly. Dusty Baker, seen him now a couple of times. Dave Winfield, seen him a couple of times. Andre Dawson, we've seen a couple of times, I believe. Did we see Andre Dawson earlier, actually? I don't remember if we saw Andre Dawson or not now. Maybe not. Is this my first Dawson? Might be my first Andre. Sweet. Very cool. All right. We have gotten, I think at this point, one of almost all the big cards I wanted to get. Andy Van Slyke's rookies in here, and I don't think I've seen Andy Van Slyke yet. If I did, I went by it quickly and missed it. I've not sleeved up an Andy Van Slyke. There's a Don Baylor. I don't think I've seen Andy Van Slyke. Jim Rice, first one I've seen of his, also a 1980 star. So, I mean, that shows you, the fact that I haven't seen Van Slyke shows you you're not guaranteed to get the cards you want to get, even by opening up 36 packs of this. With a 792 card checklist, Tim Raines, by the way, big time 80 star. With a 792 card checklist, I mean, there's just so many cards. There's so many cards. So this box was what, 36 packs, 15 cards per pack. We have gotten, by the way, I think that was our third Lou Piniella. So some of these we are seeing often. So what, we got 540 cards in one of these boxes. If you do that math, 36 packs, 15 cards per pack, 540 cards. But a 792 card checklist. So there's definitely a bunch of cards you're just not going to see by opening up a box. And then, of course, you get doubles or triples of certain guys, which then make it even harder to find other guys, right? So there's probably, I don't know, probably I would guess averages out to something like about half the cards from the checklist you aren't going to find in a box, which gives you probably about a 50% chance of finding the cards you want to find. There's our first Alan Trammell. That was a big 1980s player as well. So you got about a 50% chance, and this is real rough math, guys. I'm sure there's people out there that have broken this down more scientifically, but you got about a 50% chance of finding the players you want to find, which means that by getting one Don Mattingly and two Darryl Strawberries, I got really lucky with this box. Really lucky, because there was no guarantee that I was going to find either. And I got one Mattingly and two Strawberries. This is my last pack, guys. Last pack mojo. Wish me luck here. This is it. We're going to go through this one a little slower. Hopefully we hit. Hopefully we hit before the end. Maybe a little last minute present from Santa. Carlton Fisk. I believe that's the first Carlton Fisk we've seen. That's pretty cool. Another big 1980 star right there. All right, we're down to our last couple of cards, guys. Cecil Cooper, who are you going to end it with? Boom! Leon Durham is the last man standing. Wow, what a box break this was, guys. First of all, check these out. There's our Don Mattingly and our two Darryl Strawberries, the big ones we were hoping to find. We found those there. And then some of the others that were, really nice cards to get in this box break. We got Andre Dawson. We got Ricky Henderson, Ryan Sandberg, Mike Schmidt, Wade Boggs, Nolan Ryan, Tony Phillips rookie, Pete Rose, Kirk Gibson, Reggie Jackson, Keith Hernandez, another Nolan Ryan, another Ryan Sandberg, Cal Ripken, and Wade Boggs. There you go, guys. That is it. That is our break of 1984 Topps Baseball. A little trip down memory lane. Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Let me know in the comments. And a couple of reminders, guys. First of all, if you want card supplies like these one-touch holders or top loaders, get 10% off by going to bcwsupplies.com. They are our official supply partner at Sports Card Investor. Promo code SCI for 10% off at bcwsupplies.com. And go download the free Sports Card Investor app so you can track 84 Topps or any cards out there in the Sports Card Investor app. And then if you want to see the price movements of cards and really look and know what's going on with the market with these cards as well as with sealed boxes, that's when you need Market Movers. Go to sportscardinvestor.com and click on Market Movers in the main menu bar or download the Market Movers app on your phone. All right, guys, I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, please give it a like and please give it a subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Happy holidays. Take care.